For sure. I thought our guys did a great job last week of preparing for that ball game, coming off a big football victory, um, and not getting distracted by all the things that usually accompany a big victory. And we had talked about the message all week is we got work to do regardless of how we feel. We got stuff to take care of, and we need to go about our business regardless of how we feel. And so our guys came out really, really fast, and they beat those guys to the punch. And I felt like they imposed their will relatively early, which allowed us to score a bunch of points early on. And so it was great to see our guys get out there and do what they needed to do, and then get the newcomers, so to speak, the red shirts in there, and some other guys that haven't gotten a lot of reps in years past, and see those guys make some plays. So that was fortunate to see, and looking forward to this week's ball game against a very disciplined, a very sound defense. Though the record may be 0-2, we, the staff, have a lot of respect for these guys because these guys are good ball coaches, and they have these guys playing really, really hard. So it's going to be a very unique challenge.
Took a lot of early shots down the field in that game. Was that more predicated on what they were giving you early in the game defensively, or was that something you wanted to do from the get-go?
Well, we definitely wanted to run the football, and we wanted to establish the run first and foremost. And once you've done a good job of presenting the illusion of everything's going to be a run, you're going to have the opportunity and the capability to get behind the defense. And so the shots that we took were all off of a play that we had already run in that series or a previous series. And so we want to make the same things look different and different things look the same in the run and pass game. So like everyone else, play action passes they all have to complement the run action. And so if you look at all those big plays that we had, they all came off of a play that was previously run.
Indiana State is allowing a lot of yards, but they also are averaging about 7 tackles lost per game with their four-man front. What have you seen in what they do with their scheme to be able to get penetration, whether that be through linebackers, corner, safety blitzes, and what can you do to combat what they're able to do through your running back protection, and also maybe going to quick hits to try to prevent them from getting pressure up front?
Well, I believe this staff and the previous staff at Indiana State has done a really good job of recruiting length. They don't have anybody with short arms or anybody that's not built well. They got great length at the defensive line position and the linebacker position as well. And these guys have coached these young men up really, really well in their technique. And so they understand how to avoid blocks, how to get on angles, how to avoid to get a hurry or a sack really, really well. And so for us, it's just about knowing where our hats and hands need to be in relation to where the quarterback is, in relation to where the football's going, and not giving up leverage, because those guys are really good at defeating angles if you don't take the appropriate leverage.
This offense has put up over 100 points so far this season, operating at a high efficiency. Is that something that you kind of expected coming out of training camp and the off season for them to be able to perform at this level?
We were excited about the fact that it was year 2 in the system and we were able to play faster. And usually, if you're able to play faster, you should be able to get more plays in, and there should be more opportunities for what we call explosives, anything past 15, 20 yards of gaining. And we could tell in fall camp that we were going to meet and exceed our expectation in that category, just because our guys were so comfortable with the ball in their hand, and we have done so much to teach our guys how to run after the catch. In years past, we had a lot of guys that would catch and fall, or they'd get in the open field and somebody would take them down. And we made an onus to teach our guys how to run in the open field and how to avoid people and to make one miss, so to speak, so that the play goes from a 6-yard gain to a 60-yard gain. And so we were really, really excited about the fact that it transitioned from spring to summer, summer to fall camp, and then bang, when it matters most, our guys were able to do what we've coached them to do, and it's exciting. So we expected us to see more big plays game in and game out.
Heard you talking about stats last night on the radio show with Alan, and one of the ones that you do tend to look at is red zone, I think. How do you feel like the guys have done converting in the red zone so far through 2 games?
I felt like we've every time we've gotten down there, we've been in position to score a touchdown, whether that ball was thrown up in the end zone and we got our hands on it, or we were within striking range from making somebody miss and running the football in for a touchdown. I think there was 1 or 2 times last week where we put the ball up in the end zone and one got batted down and one got picked off. As long as it's the right read, as long as the football is in the vicinity, I'm okay with it, because we also teach our guys worst case scenario. There's going to be a time where we got the right read and the defender has the right coverage, and it just happens to be that, they got good coaches, they got good players as well. We have to now do our part and making sure that at the end of every snap, the ball belongs to us. And so there was a situation last week where we threw a fade ball up to Spencer Jones, and they had intercepted it. But that was something that we have worked on in weeks past of, hey, that's the worst case scenario. You got everything you need, but the defense isn't in leverage. We're not in leverage, so we have to break that up. And so that was a teachable moment for us as an entire unit, and for Spencer himself. But for the most part, I've been happy with our progress in that area of being in that strike zone at 35 all the way in, of being able to score within that series.
With DJ Stubbs emerging as a punt and kick returner, what have you seen in terms of what he's been able to do as a wide receiver as well, to be able to complement and be that 7th guy in the rotation?
Well, this young man comes from a really, really good program down there in Florida, and his football IQ is huge. He understands football, and he's a very smart man academically as well. And so his ability to come in and pick up on the pace and the detail in which we operate our system has been really, really impressive. And obviously you can see he has that unique ability to make you miss, similar to Damian King, but not quite the same. They have the same attributes, but it's just different. But his ability to make people miss in short areas has provided him an opportunity to play more than just on offense, obviously that special teams role as well. And so it's been really, really fun to see, that young man come in and pick it all up and be able to contribute right away.
Talk about Indiana State's defense. I'm guessing, better athletes than what you saw last week, but are there some similarities to what they do from an aggressive style, nature standpoint?
Yes, they're very similar to our defense in some respects. They're what I would say a typical OVC defense, in the sense that they got great length, they got great speed, they're well coached, and they're physical, and they're disciplined. And so with that being said, all those things are what we're accustomed to here at Liberty, because Coach Wimberly does a great job, him and his staff, of recruiting talent with great length that are physical and that are very disciplined. And so those things may be familiar, but what will be unfamiliar is just the twitch. This will be another group similar to, I think, to Baylor in terms of length and twitch. And so we got to do our part of beating those guys to the punch, just because when you play guys with that kind of length, that kind of twitch, if you're not where you need to be leverage-wise, you're down a hat. And they gain one, and then you got TFLs like you mentioned earlier, or negative ball plays.